So here's something I want you to know about me. I am not a professional gardener. I don't profess to have all the knowledge in the world about gardening. I just do this because I love to, and I like learning from my garden, and I like learning from other people's gardens, and by no means am I an authority on gardening. I don't pretend to be. I'll take any advice I can get. I will give advice if I feel like it's stuff that I've tried and it's worked or whatever, but my garden is just an adventure for me, and I love it. I have a lot of successes and a lot of failures. I've been gardening for a long time, but on a small scale. So just a little home garden. I'm just enough for my family and I. I grew up in a family that gardened. I grew up in a family that lived in the country, and we had between in our neighbor's barn we'd have a couple pigs and a cow, and we had a bunch of chickens in our chicken coop out back, and we had a huge garden, probably the size of my yard now was our garden growing up. So I grew up in that type of environment in the country, but then I live in suburbia now, and I have a small garden that I try to get as much out of as I can and enjoy what I can. But I definitely have some failures and some successes. So my first garden was of my own was in college. My senior year of college, I moved out to a house in the country that was owned by some dairy farmers, and they had purchased the land, and they just wanted the acreage for their cows. But there was an old farmhouse on the land, and my two roommates and I rented from them, and it was out on an old gravel road, right at the edge of Athens County and Meigs County in Ohio. And at the beginning of the summer, we were talking to our landlords. They were great people, and we were like, we'd really like to have a garden. And that little bit of just mention of a garden, and the next day our landlord came over with a tractor and he plowed this huge garden for us. Our eyes were like, oh my God, that's amazing and so big. What are we gonna do with this? So my first garden ever, kind of got thrown into it. We planted corn and watermelon, and we planted so many things, whatever we could get our hands on, and it was so fun. And I remember just opening the end of the summer, looking at these beautiful watermelon and thinking, oh, they're gonna be so great, and just couldn't wait, and just cut this watermelon off the vine and opened it up, and it was still green on the inside. And just learn, like, oh yeah, you've got to wait till the vine dies off. And I didn't know. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was okay. Put some things in the ground, and you learn by doing things, and you learn by experiencing things, and it's fun to try new things. And so my garden journals are meant to be this documentation of what works and what doesn't, and not meant to necessarily like be an authority on anything. But since that first garden in college, I've had a garden every year of some sort, whether it's been in pots or in a field or in raised beds, and never anything really as huge as that first garden that my landlord plowed for us, but always have had something growing, and I find so much joy in it, and I find so much learning, and I think that's what I like most. I love learning about things. So I want to show you one of my learning situations that I'm learning from right now. So this is the place where I experimented with growing carrots, mixed with radishes, because I heard, and it sounded like such a great idea, and I think it is, that if you mix up the seeds and plant them together, if you put the carrots and radishes together, that the carrots grow so slow that by the time the radishes have grown and you've pulled them out, they leave room for the carrots. So I was like, great. So I put my radishes and carrots in a bowl, mixed them up, and then I just planted them out together. And I didn't get success with my radishes. So I just thinned a whole bunch of this again. I had thinned it once, but thinned them all again. I was just ready to pull them all out because the greens were getting so big, but I knew that the roots were not, and that's the part you want of the radish. So here's my little pile of radishes that I'm going to eat and have, which is tiny compared to what I've had in previous years. And here's my waste, my going to the compost and not getting anything from. So a lot of these they just had these huge green tops, which look great from above, but you know, I know that radishes really, the greens shouldn't get that big. They should be sending all that energy to the root. And I just think I didn't give them enough room to grow. And even though I thinned them out, I don't think I thinned them out soon enough. I was a little worried that if I thinned them out, I'd damage the real delicate carrot seeds, little baby starts of carrots. So I should have put less radish seed in the mix, I think, with my carrot seed, or spread the seed thinner to begin with. And then I also should have thinned out the radishes earlier than I did to give them more room to grow, and a lot thinner than I did. I still left them pretty close. So that's what I've learned. But I've grown radishes in the past and carrots in the past just separate, and I've had a lot of success with them. But you know, trying something new is a fun thing, and it really could be beneficial if this did work. So I've got a few that I'm leaving in here just to see. I don't know if these will have enough room now to like get bigger. And it does still look like where I pulled out that I'm gonna get plenty of carrots still in here, and I wasn't careful about pulling them out. I just yanked them out, and it, you know, this one's already going to seed. I'm gonna pull that one. So it looks like the carrots will do fine here. So I'm hoping I still get some good carrots, and that's just something you learn. That's just something that makes it well, on the one hand, frustrating because, you know, I've got what seems like this waste here, and I really love radishes, but I've learned, and so that is part of what I enjoy doing, is just using this garden as a place of learning and a place of growing, both literally growing food and growing knowledge about how food grows. So yeah, that's it. So just know that if you're gardening and you're growing things and you're not successful with what's grown, or you know, things don't do what they're supposed to do, it's okay. It's okay to try new things and fail, and it's okay to try new things and succeed. And probably we learn more from our failures than our successes. Sometimes the successes just happen because we got lucky, and because we happen to have the right conditions and the right things happening without us even really doing anything. But sometimes those failures are the things that really make us learn. So I'm just gonna keep on failing. Keep on trying, and keep on trying new things, and having fun and enjoying it while I go along. So stay safe, be kind. Bye-bye.